That doesn't sound. But then, what's the solution to that situation? Like, how are
I
we
don't know.
able,
I don't
because
really.
like, how are you able to decipher what's false information, misleading? Or are we just gonna go to like the censorship police? Do you want that level of supervision on your social media and
No.
the internet?
Do you?
I mean,
No, I swear to God, if you say yes, you like want. I
to
want to
an
hear your
extent,
answer. Give me your answer.
the internet is still so young, when you think about it. I mean, yes, we're past the infancy of like the .com era, right? Like we're
Yeah.
into the whole streaming cloud service,
Apps.
apps, and yeah, I get that, right? Yeah. But there's almost like little to no regulation on the internet of what you can do on the internet. Other than the fact
you
that
could be
like,
scrolling through Instagram Reels and literally like watch like 4 people die in like a car crash,
Other
and
than
it's
the
on
fact-
the internet.
yeah, other than the fact that we know that there's the deep web and 98% of the web or whatever is inaccessible to, the average person. I get it. But that's because there is so much information out there. If you didn't have some kind of provider or middleman to siphon through it, you would never be able to get to the cited or source materials that you needed due to the plethora of content out there.
No, because
So-
everything, but it's all congested. Every form of social media is congested with unnecessary things. But I think that honestly, that's the whole point. I think that when social media, like when this whole idea came about and people really started to, think that this was a way to connect with each other, they knew deep down that this wasn't a way to connect with each other. It was just going to be a way to distract us from everything else going on within the world. You know what I mean? Because a lot of the time, like there has been things happening, like bad things happening in the world, but people are still going to go up and post their selfies. Same thing with influencers. They're still going to go and post their stuff for that brand deal.
Or when you go to a show and everyone's recording the show so that they can post it to their social media.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I went to see Pete Davidson a few weeks ago and they literally, a way to prevent us from, they yondered all of our phones. No, they yondered all of our phones.
Yeah, but I mean, what did you really need your phone for?
I didn't need my phone, and
was there a laugh in the room?
What?
No.
Yes, there. Yes. Okay. Yes.
All right. That's good to know. Sorry.
Yeah, but
no hate, no.
But you know what? You understand what I mean when I say that about social media. Like, people knew that it was going to be congested with.
So my point here is that you're kind of sounding like you agree that it's a negative.
What, social media? I just said that. Yeah, I just said that I think that my generation is very aware of the fact that social media is a negative. However, we're so immersed in it now that we're never going to stop using it.
Okay, so
it's like a part of us.
So
now.
You're agreeing that it's a negative. You're acknowledging that people in your generation are understanding that there's negative aspects about it, right? There's fallacies in the whole algorithm, and you're not getting information the right way or the way that you would like it to be or intend your information, whatever, right? They're listening, they're watching, whatever, right? But you don't want regulations on the internet? You're opposed to there being some kind of buffer to false information and how we're getting this content, since so many people are now getting their information.
I think that we could put buffers, but then I think that, false information would still be out there. Hello, have you ever heard of Reddit? Dude,
you would not be coming at Reddit's neck right now.
No,
you cannot
Reddit,
come out of Reddit's
if they're going to delete TikTok, Reddit should go with it too, because Reddit needs to go.
Oh, if they're Reddit, but
Reddit is literally just a website created just to hate on people and spread information that's 90% of the time not true. Or it's information that's going to ruin people's lives.
What do you mean? This is so we can't even. I'm not gonna go off on this stance about Reddit, but it's not just a derogatory. It's not just like a derogatory site for. You really just like think, how much of Reddit have you ever seen? You know what I mean?
I don't know. I don't want to get into the back alleys of Reddit. Do you?
I'm just saying, there's good and bad to everything. It's always like the conversation we're talking about.
So there you go. There's good and bad to everything. So you also agree that there's good and bad to social media.
Yeah, but it's easier to you're not wrong. But it is much easier to kind of like siphon through that information on a Reddit. Like you're supposed to sort your sites, source your sites or your information.
Yeah, 100%. It's like when you're writing a paper in college, you have to.
No different than when you're looking up an article in college, when you were reading into a book or some type of research paper, right? You still went back and.
Okay, so then who's going to step up to the plate and do that? Because
the United States government.
Yeah, they're going to take that on. They're ready to take that on.
But there's all I'm saying is that we both agree that there obviously are some faults in the system, right?
100%.
Like a lot of people are getting their information on platforms that might not be the best for us to get our information, right? They're not, but how they use it, right, is out of our control. You know, how an individual uses their, you know, the source that they've gotten or they have acquired, then what are we to say about that, right? Like, which really just kind of gets me into like more so of like, how are we going to like use that information? Do you know what I mean? For ourselves, you know, when we're doing like our own thing and we're researching and getting into our show and ourselves, you know, it's like, does everything that we look into need to have some kind of like full validation?
Like that, like, I feel like, a better way to put it is like, does everything that, you know, we put out into the world or see in the world need to have this credibility behind it?
Like full-fledged credibility?
Yeah.
Or we're able to just be more subjective?
See, I don't know. That's where I think it's a very blurred line. Do you not agree?
To an extent, you know what I mean? Because I still want to enjoy it. You know, I don't want to get to the point where we're like looking at this like this is just like the craziest thing. It's so much work and we got to cite and source everything. We're like really just trying to get to like the, you know, the deets of it all, right? Like, and have the conversation and the discussion. So, you know, it really does feel more so like we're talk show-ish, you know, like we're getting to like a talk show.
Welcome to The View.
Like, you know, and the modern, I guess what was the modern nostalgic version of it. But we're doing a little, The View? You said The View? No.
Yes.
I'm gone. If this becomes a panel,
I don't think I've. You wouldn't love it.
If this becomes a panel of you and your teeny boppers, I'm out.
Do not. That's so disrespectful. That's literally so disrespectful.
No, I don't.
But like, I don't know. Even the whole social media conversation is like funny to have with you at times because, you know, I look at my Instagram account and then I look at yours and
I'm not gonna lie to you. I solely got it's completely ironic that we're even doing this. Like, I am not a social media person. I don't listen to podcasts unless I'm supporting people that I know. Do you know what I mean? Or that I'm like giving them the, you know what I mean? I'm giving them the viewership, you know, in that sense. But like, I was never big on getting my information just for the sake of the show. I was never big on getting my information from any other source that wasn't like a research. That wasn't some like, I swear to you, like if it was television, if it was news, like
so you refuse to get your news from anywhere else, like besides somewhere.
It has to be like, it needs to be peer reviewed. Someone has to have like tried to prove it wrong. If it wasn't like attested and tried to prove it wrong.
So you don't get your news.
Study,
so you've never gotten any news from like Twitter.
I've gotten news, but I really try not to digest
or
that
X,
news.
whatever it's called now.
It's X, please.
Well, I never had Twitter.
All right, you need to use the appropriate.
No, but I never even had the app.
You never had a Twitter?
No.
Man.
Isn't that surprising?
Really?
Yeah.
I mean,
I just had no interest in it.
I only got an Instagram because I realized at a point that it became a social norm.
Oh, 100%. If you didn't have a social media account, especially an Instagram account at the time that it was like becoming a thing, then you were like, why don't you have one?
Yeah, I got to I was completely that person that was disconnected. No social media, no Instagram. I just, deactivated my Facebook, no Twitter. And I was completely content with living a life like that until I realized that it was started to inhibit my actual relationships, like getting to know people in the real world. Because people don't exchange numbers anymore.
No. What do they exchange?
Handles and tags. You know what I mean? They exchange barcodes and...
Let me get your Snapchat.
No, my God. I'm so grateful that I was never a part of that
Snapchat
era of... like the clickbait of or the streaks, like keeping my streak alive with someone.
Oh my God.
That I barely talk to.
When I would like go away when I used to go to the sleepaway camps that I went to. I used to go to a sleepaway camp and work there, but we weren't allowed to have our phones. But when I was a counselor, I was allowed to have my phone, whatever. I literally had friends that would log into my Snapchat so that I could keep my streaks. That is one of the most ridiculous things I could have ever done. What's the point?
You tell me. I never understood.
I don't know, but
I was struggling to just be able to understand how to use Instagram.
But even, can I say this too? And this is crazy. When TikTok was starting to like really like pick up, like in 2019, that was my freshman year of college. I was like, TikTok is so stupid. I refuse to get TikTok. It's literally frying my brain. And then I got it, and now it's so bad. I think I'm addicted to TikTok sometimes.
Great. So it's a wonderful thing that it's going to be banned, right?
No. If TikTok gets banned, I'm going to be really upset.
You're going to move out of the country. Like,
I think that there's definitely things that should be banned on TikTok. Like you said, like there is a lot of stuff there's a lot of things that could be considered false information on that app. So I think that it definitely could use some organization, some cleaning up, However, TikTok is so fun. Like some of the videos that I see on that app are 10 times funnier than it like is stuff that reminds me of like Vine back in the day. You remember Vine?
Yes, I do remember Vine. So what do you feel about your screen time then?
Well, since I have been working now and I have a full-time job, my screen time has decreased so much.
How much content do you feel like you are ingesting? Like, wait, we're going to go into screen time. I don't want to get too off topic here, because how much of your screen time do you feel like you have committed to either news or podcasts or shows? Do you know what I mean?
I would say probably like an hour to like an hour and a half, because sometimes when I'm in the car, if I don't want to listen to music, I'll just throw on a podcast, and obviously that counts as screen time.
Yeah.
But I'm not actually like sitting there.
So you will just casually put on a podcast, put on a show and just listen.
Oh yeah. Even like when I'm just like cleaning my room, I like to have background noise. So I always like to have something playing in the background, whether it's a podcast, whether it's music, whether it's a TV show.
I do. A lot of friends.
So you know what I mean? That's why. But that's what, like, I didn't start listening to podcasts until maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And like the first ones that I started listening to was because they were like people that I like loved on YouTube. Like I started to listen to like Cody Ko's podcast, and everybody listened to Call Her Daddy. No,
those are over my head. I swear
they were with Barstool, but now they're with Spotify. So
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Well, it was this whole thing that happened. It was 2 girls. They like broke up. Like they stopped being friends, and then
is that gonna happen to us?
Maybe.